room. Come on in the room. Bucks lose it tonight on the road in Mile High, Denver, Colorado, losing 113-107 to the Denver Nuggets. Ooh, the Doc Rivers debut, the Doc Rivers era starts 0-1 against the defending champs. 113-107. Come on in the room. Doc is our doctor. He writes out all our scriptures. He gives us all of our medicine in our room. Come on in the room. We are live. It's the Cream City crossover, late night edition of the Cream City crossover. 113-107. Denver Nuggets beat the Milwaukee Bucks. It's the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris, poor mic quality.
Yeah. Oh, Chris, poor mic quality.
Chris, poor mic quality. We got duct tape on that thing, brother.
We all good. We all good today.
For the CCC, yeah. That's all that matters.
We good. Throw your C's up, triple C's. 113-107. Man, this was it was interesting. There are a lot of things. Again, you are 40 some odd games into the season, 47 games. Bucks are what, 34-13 now? Is that right? No, excuse me, 34-15? 32-15? I might be wrong. Somebody tell me what the Bucks record is. I think they're 32-15. My bad.
32-15. Yes,
okay, 32-15.
Yep.
47 games in. Mm-hmm. You are starting to learn a lot about your basketball team, but you're starting to learn about. Let me say this: you're starting to learn about your personnel, and you do know a lot about your personnel. You're having to relearn, or not relearn, but you're having to get to know this new coaching staff. The Doc Rivers era starts off 0-1. The first 5 minutes might have been the best 5 minutes of basketball you've seen the Milwaukee Bucks play. I won't go that far, but it was a very good 5 minutes to start the game off. And then the last 5 minutes of the quarter just went to hell. And then the rest of the game was just really weird. And there are a lot of talking points that we got to get to tonight. 113-107. But we started as always with our game recap, and the game recap, as always, is brought to you by who?
The law officer Daley M. Johnson. When you need defense off the court.
Yeah, when you need a little defense off the court, you get in touch with the law officer Daley M. Johnson, providing criminal defense, traffic, and OWI defense, temporary restraining orders, and injunctions. He's serving Central and South Central Wisconsin. Call him 608-893-8370. Like how I enunciate that. Go to his website, www.dmjlaw.com. That's where you go to get it all figured out when you're having some problems on the defense. Hey, listen, I'm on the Stella Rosa tonight.
Oh boy,
JT got a bedtime apparently, so
man.
He's not drinking.
Yeah,
I got me the on the seltzer, so that's what I do late night.
I'm on the Stella Rosa, so I shouldn't get behind the wheel. But if I did, I'd call my guy Daley M. Johnson. JT, you sleepy? You shouldn't get behind the wheel. If you do, call the law officer Daley M. Johnson. So that's how we're gonna do this thing.
Hey, some of y'all fighting out on Water Street because people was talking crazy in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You better call your boy Daley M. Johnson.
Yeah,
right?
Out there on Cathedral acting a fool.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You're not getting back cut like Malik Beasley on the defense is Daley M. Johnson.
No, sir.
Yeah,
no, he's not.
No, not at all.
No, he's not.
Let's do the game recap. 113-107. So many ways to go. So again, the model of consistency, Giannis Antetokounmpo, 29, 12, and 4. He does what he's supposed to do, 11 for 19 from the field, 1 for 1 from 3, had a big three-pointer, 6 for 11 from the line. They can't believe they called that bogus 10-second violation with 2 minutes to play. I mean, the crazy thing was it did lead to
a 3
because it led to a 3. Because it really would have been a 4-point play because he hit that free throw, would have missed the second one, the tap out, and then Giannis got a 3 out of it. So it really could have been a 4-point play. Bucks could have been down 3 at that point. But then you look, Chris Middleton, 14, 8, and 3. He was 6 for 10 from the field, but that doesn't even tell the story for Chris Middleton because he finishes the game with 4 turnovers. He started the second half of 2 or 3 in a row. Outstanding, I think, first quarter from Chris Middleton, but after that just went downhill. I think he had like 10 or 11 points in the first quarter, and then I think he finished with 3 points for the second half. Malik Beasley, 5 points, didn't do enough. Brook Lopez was good. I thought some poor shot selection from Brook Lopez, but he was 5 for 9 from 3. He gave you 19 points, 2 boards, 2 assists. Damian Lillard with 18 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. He was 5 for 13 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. I don't know what's up with Damian Lillard. I am I am officially getting concerned. That's what I would say about Damian Lillard. I'm starting to get concerned. Bobby Portis, 9 points, 12 rebounds. He salvaged 9 points out of tonight. Because you know what Bobby Portis was tonight? Trash. You're a bad man. You're a bad man. That's what Bobby Portis was tonight. He was absolutely garbage. Bring in all the garbage trucks you want to bring in, the dump trucks, the landfill, whatever you want to say about Bobby Portis. Absolutely horrific. He had 12 rebounds, sure, but when you just catch a rebound to come off the backboard, I mean, you get 6 or 7 of those just because nobody's contested them. But outside of that, he is 2 for 13 tonight, 2 for 6 from 3. Hit a couple threes, but outside that was bad. Campaign, I thought in 12 minutes, 3 points. I didn't think he was terrible. Pat Connaughton, 15 minutes, 7 points. Jay Crowder with 3 points in 19 minutes, was 1 of 3 from the field. You go to the Denver Nuggets side of things, 25, 16, and 12. So Joker messed around and got a
triple-double.
He did. Jamal Murray, and another concerning trend for the Milwaukee Bucks. Another guard outplaying Damian Lillard. Like if you were to tell me like what is Damian Lillard as far as top point guards in the NBA? Remember, John, we had that discussion in the offseason about where Drew was compared to Dame point guard, and we talked about Dame being like top 3. Through 40, and I get it. He's all-star starter, and Dame is probably back. I mean, I have to think about it, but yeah, 8, 9, 10. Like he's not right now. I couldn't put him over Jamal Murray right now. I mean, he got out. He continues to be outplayed. So Jamal Murray gives you 32, 5 and 2. Kentavious Caldwell Pope gives you 12 points. Michael Porter Jr. with 13 and 8. Aaron Gordon 8 and 6. I think he fouled out in this basketball game. Had a big block on Dame at the end. The Reggie Jackson with 9 points, and Peyton Watson with 6 points as well. But again, the difference though, when you look, so the Bucks bench actually does outscore the Denver Nuggets bench because the Denver Nuggets bench does not score very well. But at the end of the day, listen, I don't care. You could have Adrian Griffin coaching. You can have Joe Prunty coaching. You can have Doc Rivers coaching. You can have Eric Spoelstra coaching. You can have Joe Mazzulla, Ime Udoka. Name the coach. Pat Riley. Name the coach. This has been a trend all year long. Bobby Portis, minus 14, minus 7, minus 11, minus 9. Those were your bench players plus minus. That's what they were tonight. Your starters plus 2, Giannis was minus 3. Brook plus 5, Beasley plus 6, Lillard 1. You look on the other side of things, the Denver bench, even though they weren't scoring, plus 15, plus 10, plus 14. That's Reggie Jackson, Braun, and Watson. That's what they did. They were positives, the other teams were negative. And again, I know people, you'll look at me and you'll say, well, that's not everything. But plus minus is not indicative of the games. But when it looks the same every single night, when every single night your bench is minus and your starters are positives, that's a problem. Because if it's truly not indicative, those numbers will kind of jump around at night to night. They don't for the Bucks. They stay in one particular spot. I'll give you some thoughts, and then I want to hear from you guys as well as John and Chris. You can contact. You can get your thoughts in at TCIIESQ on the Twitter, and then on YouTube, we'll take your comments as well. Again, so I'll just say this. What you want to say, JT?
I thought you was going to be like, you could text 414.
No,
1973, and then I was like,
Bucks and 62. He's right. Double duty today.
Yeah, well, yeah, we do well. And we have started Bucks and 60 on Mondays from 6 to 7 Central. So you can catch us there, catch us on the T's and Q's, 10 to noon on Saturdays. So, yeah, we're doing a lot of things. And, of course, we're doing the Cream City crossover. We're doing that after every game. But tonight, man, I'll say this. And I'm not – in no way, again, Doc Rivers, I'm really not even talking about Doc Rivers tonight because it's his first night coaching. Realistically, there's nothing, he can do. He's got to fill out this team. And again, that's some of the growing pains that the same issues that I said, I'm going to preach. This is how you know, I'm not about to defend anybody. I'm not defending Griffin. What I'm going to defend is, so I'm going to say the same thing for Doc Rivers that I said for Adrian Griffin. It's the same thing. You got to give him time. Our offense looked as clunky as I've ever seen it. What'd you say, JT? 19 points in the third quarter. Might be one of our worst quarters that we played all year long offensively. Yes, so you're gonna look clunky, and I'm telling you, there will be games like this. Now you put up 141 with Prunts the other night. There will be games where the offense goes crazy. That's just what will happen. But you're going to have to, just like you can get upset all you want to. These type of games will happen. These type of offensive outputs will happen. There's 2 out of 4 games now post Adrian Griffin, and I'm not saying Adrian Griffin did anything that was so crazy that made our offense cook. But I'm just saying there's 2 out of 4 games now where you've had long, drawn-out spells of not scoring field goals, which I don't remember. I think maybe happened once or twice in 43 games with Adrian Griffin. It's happened 2 times in the last 4 where you go 6-8 minutes without a field goal. That's a problem. You got to get that figured out. The shooting tonight, the shot selection, horrible. Bobby Portis finishes taking 13 shots, which is second highest on the team behind Giannis Antetokounmpo. Damian Lillard, what do you do? It's almost like you see Hey Arnold, you watch Hey Arnold, stoop, kids afraid to lead the stoop. That's what he looks like he's afraid to shoot. He won't shoot the ball. I got Damian Lillard, who is a Hall of Fame player, top 75, and you trade him to Milwaukee Bucks, and he can't shoot the ball no more. And I say you're gonna hear some of the same stuff from me. I'm sorry, I'm rambling here. You hear some of the same stuff under Griffin. What I say, Damian Lillard. Everybody, don't give me that excuse of, well, nobody gets. Well, they don't let him shoot. He has to stand in the corner. Bobby Portis put up 13 shots, dog. Everybody's getting their shots up. Everybody's getting shots up. Figure out a way to get the shots up. I don't want to see it. You got to play better. Chris got to play better. Lopez, pick your spots better. Again, now I'll preface. The only thing I'll say tonight is the Denver Nuggets. That is a very, 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 very high level basketball team, obviously. And Bobby Portis shot you out of the game. All of that. I was disgusted by a lot of what I saw. But again, it's first game Doc Rivers is coach. And again, since it gets the Denver Nuggets on the road, and you play, to me, the Bucks played a C- game, and they lost it by 6 points. So 113-107. That's what I saw. JT, what'd you see?
Look, the same thing you saw. I saw our team absolutely come out swinging, going 7 for 10 in the first quarter, 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, and then I saw us not score a single point in the last 4 minutes in that first quarter and absolutely stink it up. Right, I think we finished out that quarter 26-25. Also saw an awful third quarter. I don't know what that was. Went back and looked at the numbers. You realize tonight in points in the paint, we got outscored by 30 points. I mean, Denver put up our points in the paint, I believe, was 28 points in the paint. I mean, that's 26. I'm sorry. Denver puts up 58. I mean, my goodness, right? I saw that. I saw Brook have a great shooting night from 3, going 5 for 9. But I saw Malik Beasley. I mean, Malik Beasley and Bobby Portis, they was drinking. They must have been drinking from the same Gatorade. But I mean, my goodness, right? Malik Beasley tonight goes 2 for 9. Yo, that's terrible. But Bobby Portis going 2 for 13. Man, listen, this is like, so the saying, shoot or shoot, right? Unfortunately, this ain't the club though, right? There's a consequence to you missing shots. It's something different if you know what I'm saying. If you at Lucid, you know what I mean, you shooting everything walking by, okay, there may be some sort of reward coming your way. But when you're playing like, when you're playing a team like the Nuggets, you shooting your team out of this game. And again, that third quarter was one of the most awful third quarters that I've seen from this Bucks team all year. And really, it's really kind of shameful because you have a Bucks offense that is top 6 of all time, according to the broadcast tonight, and they even said that. And then you out there scoring 19 points. You're going 5 minutes at a time in the first, not scoring. I was embarrassed. And man, shame on these refs for calling that 10-second violation on Giannis. Come on, man. Yeah. Come on, man. Last thing I'll say is, listen, man, I agree with your concerns about Dame. I feel like Dame is gravitating more towards being if you say top 10 point guards, he's kind of like hugging that 9 or 10 right now. We're talking like that's Dak Prescott territory. And I think the expectations are a lot higher than that for Dame. So I don't know what's going on, man. Hopefully, it kind of just seemed like his soul in right. He just don't look comfortable, right? Like I just don't see – I think the Damian Lillard that we've seen in Portland, like I don't think he's washed, but –
how long are we going to use that excuse that he's not comfortable? I'm just asking the question. How long do you not get to be comfortable?
No. That's not going to be an excuse anymore. That's an observation. You don't look comfortable, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, no. We're 47 games in. That's no longer excuse territory. That is an observation and an accurate one. Dame doesn't look comfortable. Dame looks a little bit out of place. Something isn't right? And I don't know I don't know what's going on in that locker room. I have no idea, right? I'm hoping Doc can get to the bottom of it. Maybe we can blame a little bit of that on Dr. Griffin. Like you said, he is an all-star starter. I understand that, but we're not looking for all-star starter. We're looking for Hall of Fame caliber player, and we're looking for that consistently. Dame has had some big moments, and I will defend him this year. No question about that. No question about that. But you are what you continuously do. And night in and night out, I can't tell you that we're getting all-NBA Dame Lillard. I really can't, because there's been far more nights where we have not seen that than we have this season.
Well, part of that, I guess I'll give an excuse for Dame is the fact that he's had 3 coaches in the past week, so maybe the schemes are kind of off. Like tonight, I saw a lot more pick and roll with players that were not just Giannis. Like I saw Brook out there screening for him. I saw Jay Crowder out there screening for him. I saw Bobby screening for him. And I thought he was a little too unselfish in taking those screens and trying to force it inside when he still has one of the best handles in the league, still is one of the best isolation players in the league. So I think he could be a little more unselfish when it comes to trying to get other people involved in that pick and roll. I also thought, it's overall okay showing, like, I thought obviously we'll get to Bobby and the fact that he was asked tonight, but he kind of showed some flashes of being able to pass out of the post, and so that kind of got my hopes up, and then he was back to being a black hole again, which is awful. Like that's the worst thing you can do is give him the ball at the post at this point, because he's just a black hole and he's a one and done shot, and that's not it. And then also I'll say last thing. It was interesting to note Andre Jackson Jr. when you have a guy like Jamal Murray out there baking everybody. Yeah. So no minutes played, no seconds played from Andre Jackson Jr. and you kind of want to think that there was probably at least a little bit of confidence from Doc to try and throw him on Jamal Murray. So overall, okay showing because it is a team like the Nuggets, but I think you let one slip away. I think you could have won that one.
And and we try. Listen, man, I try to keep this as PG as possible. But man, what time? Man, it's midnight over here on the East Coast. Mac P says it. Bobby played like shit. Like that's what he said. I'm gonna read it. I don't.
Mac P, thank you for telling it like it is.
That's
Mac
what
P said. Listen, like he played like
it.
Absolute steaming. It's it. Bobby stunk up the room. He stunk up the joint.
So that's what it looked like, and it's past midnight, so we can say it tonight. King of Kings says our pace was too slow. Mario Luna says the bench was useless. Turnovers killed him at the end. Bobby killed most of the momentum the team had while going offensively, but overall it was a pretty solid night. I don't know. I mean, again, the only thing I can say when you say solid is that the opponent was very good. And so because Denver is so good and you're on the road in Denver, I can make some excuses there, but to say it was a solid night, I guess I just disagree. The Bucks are one of the best clutch teams in the NBA. They got it to a 2 or 3 point game or whatever it was late in the basketball game, and then they fell apart multiple times. So I can't go with this is a solid night. Again, I'm seeing the opposite of what of what I'm used to seeing. What do we say, John? Every night we say it. Get us a couple possessions either way, and I'm taking Dame and Giannis. They got it. That was what happened tonight, and they failed. So I somewhat disagree. James Henderson, Middleton's a turnover machine. Absolutely. 4 turns for Chris Middleton. He was horrible with the ball. It's really tough when Chris Middleton's a primary ball handler. Damian Lillard's a primary ball handler. 8 turnovers between them and 8 assists between them. So that's very bad. Just unfocused. Tonight was unserious basketball, especially, and I haven't really said it a lot on the offensive end, but it was unserious basketball on the offensive end. The defense for the Bucks tonight was, so you can tell. So what they've clearly started to change defensively on the philosophy is they are getting much, whereas the Bucks had an Olay line to the basket. They have now started, and that was somewhat because Dr. Griffin's philosophy was, hey, I saw y'all get killed by Miami from 3. We ain't going to have that happen. I saw y'all get killed by Boston in 2022 for 3. We ain't going to let that happen. And we're going to hug up on those 3-point corner shooters. And I think, it was almost as if Griffin overcorrected for some of what Mike Budenholzer's defense gave up. He overcorrected those principles and said, okay, instead of helping everything in the paint and we're not letting anybody score inside, which is what Mike Budenholzer's philosophy was, and giving up 3, Adrian Griffin said, we're not going to help at all, and we're going to and that's why you saw all these straight line drives with no help, guys going straight to the basket. and we're not going to let you hit these threes. And so remember, we see so many other Bucks got beat in points in the paint 70-45. And it was like, yeah, because we're not allowing the threes. And so what you're seeing now from this Doc Rivers, and it kind of started some with Joe Prunty too, is we're going to help a little bit more off the 3-point line and try to stop so many of these drives. Like, I mean, I thought if you saw it tonight, I just don't think you saw a lot of drives to the basket where guys were uncontested and just getting layups and after layup, like there's a layup line. So I do think you start to see some of that. I know we're talking about Doc's debut and things that are different. But offensively, again, I don't know, do we attribute it to poor shooting? It's an off shooting night. Do you attribute it to Doc Rivers being new? But this offense just looks very, very clunky. And Dame looks scared to shoot it in the ill-advised shots. And like you said, Chris, you're still giving it to Bobby, black hole offense. Like, some of that stuff's got to get cleaned up. And there was a stat that came up on the broadcast, on the Bucks broadcast, where they are like, I don't know, it was like 2-7 or 2-6, 2-7 when they score less than 117. Tonight, they only put up 107, and 117 would have got you a dub.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that you said is, you know, in combination with the fact that our bench, we don't have a single player that can give us a spark, a single player that can. Like you said, Bobby shooting bad. It just turned. You said who?
Drake, and he's like combination.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, oh, the Stella Rosé. So here we go. Oh man, the Stella Rosé is getting warm in there.
Got ice in it.
Yeah, he got ice in it, but it don't matter.
I just opened this one up, man. You know, like a little chill.
The Stella Rosé hit the bloodstream, and here we go. Boy, take the man's phone. Well, you know, he married. We don't need to take his phone, but y'all get what I'm saying. Yeah. You know, I think that, but I think the bigger issue to me, though, honestly, is the fact that we don't have anybody to give us a spark. And our bench, we don't have the worst bench in the league. It is very close. It 100% has to be very close. And we certainly have the worst bench out of any contender. And to me, it just feels like the more things change, the more things are going to continue to be the same, because we talk about these same issues. You know, with the bench, it is a trend. It is absolutely a trend. Bobby plays bad. The bench really gives you nothing. I think tonight our bench had 22 points, and did we tie? Did we tie with Denver's bench? Denver's bench is bad too, right? Like
scoring wise, they are bad. Yeah, they scored.
Oh no, they only scored 20, right?
Okay.
Denver's bench scored 20, right? Watson had 6, Jordan had 5, and Reggie Jackson had 9. Right, so they only had 20. I think tonight we had 22. So hey, one team was awful, one team was terrible. Imagine that. Anyway, right. The reality of it is I think we're going to keep having some of these same issues though, because we really only have our starters in the offense that are going to give you something, and then on the bench, right, we're playing hope here, where we just hope somebody can do something. And at this point with this personnel, it's going to be this way every night until we make some trades.
Yeah. And that leads me into my point, which is Malik Beasley's got to be on the bench. Like, you can't have nights like this and expect to really impact the game. Like, I see that even with different coaches, Malik Beasley still has these defensive lapses and struggles to guard on ball, to where at some point he's got to move to the bench, and he can provide that volume scoring without having the pressure of playing so much on ball defense against some of the better guards in the all of the NBA, and that's why you say, Trey, always take the over on the opposing guard, because Malik Beasley's out there and he can't fight through a damn screen to save his life. So like that's, so I think if you make a move, right, and you get a wing defender or a guard defender, then he can move to the bench and provide more of a scoring punch, and you're not looking at him to kind of defend some of the best players in the league.
So here's my only thing I'll say, and Trey, I'm gonna let you go for a second now. If Malik Beasley goes to the bench, are you saying you're putting Crowder in the starting lineup, or are you saying Malik Beasley only goes to the bench? Okay, thank you. That's my whole point.
Like, if you go and get a Marcus Smart, then you're starting him for sure.
That was my whole point. Because I was going to say, who's he going to go to the bench for? Who's going to replace him in that lineup if you're going to send Malik Beasley?
And maybe Crowder can get to a point where he's there, but for right now, I'm comfortable enough throwing him out there. But once you make a move, you got to send him down, lower his minutes.
I thought and there was a moment I actually tweeted this out. I thought late in that game, about 4 minutes ago, I questioned whether or not you in that moment, especially because again, look like on a night like tonight, where Beasley is what does he end up? He has 5 points, 2 of 9, 1 of 6 from 3. On a night like that, is that a night where 5 minutes left in the game and you look on the other side and Murray is giving you 35 on 60% shooting? Is that a night where you say, okay, Bees, you ain't got it tonight. Let's go with Crowder to close this thing out and try to get some stops and try to make it a little bit harder on Malik Beasley. On Jamal Murray. I thought that probably would have been the best move against Doc's first game, so maybe he didn't, want to go that route. But I thought that might have been a better move because, again, I mean, hell, Jay Crowder can go in and shoot 1 for 6 for 3. Yeah. So that that didn't really do anything. Really busy again. And not for not trying. I thought he did a lot of little things well tonight. I thought that he tried to fight as hard as he could over screens. Again, it's just against elite level offensive guards. Malik Beasley is not good enough to stay in front of him on a consistent possession by possession basis. Like he just can't do it. Some people jumping in. Nicholas Hazlitt says he was listening to some other chats and saying that he couldn't hear the nonsense because I guess some people were talking about trading Dame for Drew. I think
they're playing. Okay, all right. Now they playing.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. To Tony, where I know he's about to say something about Chris Middleton, says trade Chris. Dame hates sharing the ball with him. All these trades. Kashaya Tao says, Trent Comp says Dame outplayed by every damn point guard he goes against. It seems like it's pathetic. Lumi says it seems like he's not fitting into the offense. Green Ranger says, I told you Bobby's a black hole on the offense. Chris is dribbling too much. No offense can operate with 5 number 2 options. But that's the thing. Bobby's not a number 2 option. Like that's like, and again, I disagree with that. You can, but your issue is Brook Lopez is not a number 2 option.
You shouldn't be.
Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez are not number 2 options. So why have they taken as many shots as Damian Lillard? But again, so when you talk about, and I saw somebody else saying there's too many mouths to feed on his offense. No, there's not. Nobody's not. Doc Rivers needs to go down the line and smack some people and tell them that your mouth shouldn't be as big as Dame. Well, that's your mouth. Hey, have you ever?
Hey, yo.
Stella Rosa is
right. This Bucks After Dark. Shout out to Bucks After Dark. Here we go.
But no, I'm saying like. So everybody realizes clearly Giannis is nobody's messing with him. But Damian Lillard there's no reason why he is taking the same amount of shots as Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis. And the excuse, or I'm not gonna say excuse, but the logic as to why that's happening can't be to me. Well, there's too many number 2s because Brook Lopez has never been a number 2 on this basketball team. Bobby Portis doesn't even start, so he's not a number 2. Chris Middleton plays less minutes than plays 30 minutes. So he doesn't even play as much as Dame or Giannis. So I guess I hear you, but I don't think that's what it is. I just think the shot selection is bad. And Damian Lillard's got to stop being listen, I can't call him out of name, but Dame got to stop acting like this, man. Like, dog, like you are a Hall of Fame player. Go act like one. Even late in the game, Chris, I don't know if you saw this, JT, like, late in the game, I thought I saw Dame almost like trying to assert himself, and it's just like instead of shooting ball, it's like, oh, I'm gonna try and foul bait. And he got to the line a couple times, but I mean, why can't look at what Jamal Murray's doing, like hitting those mid-range pull-ups. Like Dame can hit that shot. Why does he not go to it? And he shows that, and that's my question. People say, is he washed? I don't think so, because every now and then you see that burst and he gets to the basket. But why can't you get that burst, stop on a dime, pop? Let me ask you this. Would you take, if you could trade right now, would you take Jamal Murray over Damian Lillard? Like right now, would you take Jamal Murray on your basketball team instead of Damian Lillard?
100%.
Probably. Yeah. The only difference I think maybe like, I mean, but even you talk about experience, even talk about, I mean, I just think, right today, Jamal Murray, I think is a better basketball player than Damian Lillard. I do. I think, yeah. So yeah, I agree with that, Chris.
What's more appealing to me is the fact that he's been there and won the finals with a tier 1 superstar like a Giannis. So of course I would take Jamal Murray, and he's younger. So that's probably why I would make that decision. But that's not what we have. We got Dame, and he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, and I just see so many people for whatever reason, give Dame these passes. And again, so I'm not gonna get into this. People arguing on Twitter, but they got to draw up plays for Dame. Shut up! Like, I mean, I just can't. I can't do it. I'm gonna read. So this is what they got to draw up plays for Dame. It seems like the only option this is from at Dud94 Quan. They got to draw up plays for Dame. It seems like the only option he has going ISO most of the time. They drew a couple plays for him up in the first half and went away from it. Hopefully, Doc creates more opportunities for Dame. How many coaches are you gonna go through with this, man? Like we on the third. And again, I get it's one game, but how many times you had Adrian Griffin, you had Prunty, and now we had Doc Rivers. I mean, we listen. You can't go through multiple people and act like it's everybody else's fault. What I say? My pops used to say to me all the time. I would get in trouble in school, and it would be Miss Simpson's class and Miss Langham's class and Miss Atkinson's class. And it's Miss Atkinson. No, you didn't know what she did. No, Miss Simpson she didn't let me talk when it was my time to read the book. And Miss Langham, she just me. Hey, son, if it's everybody else, the problem is not them. If everybody got a problem with you, it's for y'all. Hey, listen, you out there listening, and you got a problem. All your friends, and this person's stupid, and that person's stupid. All your relationships, and this girl dumb, and she dumb. Everything you got going on, everybody's stupid but you. No. The problem is you. You're the problem. And again, I'm not saying this is for everything with Damian Lillard, but he has an issue. It's 40-some games now. It ain't everybody else, man. It's you. You got to figure that out. It's you.
I mean, that's true, right? Like I think yeah, you're right about that. When everybody got a problem here, and the problem is everybody else. No, the problem is you. I guess the question I have is, how do you solve this issue with Dame, right? Because like when you talk about scheming and drawing plays, that's one thing. But sometimes it just looks like Dame is stuck in like 75 to 80%. You don't look like that 100%, right? And maybe is it the fact that Dame has never been on a team anywhere near this talented, and so he's like thinking sometimes in the middle of doing things instinctively, if that makes sense. Like he's thinking, maybe I should drop dish this one out instead of just taking it to. Like I'm not really sure what it is. Again, it goes back to that comfort, but like you said, we 47 games in, so man, you better find your comfort. You better assert it, and I'm sure Giannis and the team is 100% comfortable with that. But I think Dame, is he lacking confidence at this point? Like, is that what it is? Is it confidence?
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but why? Like, you're a top 75 player, and you're one of the best go-get-a-bucket guys ever. So what are we doing here? Why are you not confident? Like, nobody's going to fault you for taking 20 shots and making 8 of them because you had an off night. Where they're going to fault you is you took 10 shots, you took 12 shots, and you made 6 of them. So why aren't you shooting more? So it's stuff like that.
Let's stick there because Green Ranger. Well, a couple people come in. Nicholas Haslett says Dame is better. Green Ranger says Dame is better. I guess that was in the answer to our question of who's better, Jamal Murray, Damian Lillard. And then Green Ranger says, let's be real. If Dame would have took 22 shots, he'd have busted Murray's ass. Stop it. Green Ranger, and he says Murray took 22 shots. It wasn't his night. That's why. But this is what I'm saying, Nick and Green Ranger. This has become a theme. Brunson bust him up when they played against New York. Even the games Bucks won, Brunson killing him. He's scoring at will. Dame not. Donovan Mitchell, and I know he's not a point guard per se, but another guard, Donovan Mitchell comes in scoring, boom, killing him, scoring. Damian Lillard not matching the output. Jamal Murray, just line them up. Line up the guys, and this is what typically happens on a somewhat nightly basis. That the guy on the other side is probably going to outscore Damian Lillard. That's all we're saying. If this was like an isolated incident, I'd agree with you, but that it's not. It's just not. And again, I'm not blaming Damian Lillard for as the reason the Bucks lost. Like I said, I think you can go around the horn there, offensively and look at again. I think Bobby Portis absolutely shot him out of the game. It's just, do they need to corral Bobby Portis? Yes, but at the end of the day, the Bucks still had an opportunity there in the last 4, 5, 6 minutes of the game where Bobby Portis was not impacting the game, wasn't in the game at all, and Damian Lillard in particular did not step up and did not provide some of the things that we need him to provide.
And agree, 100% agree. Well, and that's the thing. It's like we talk about, like you said, when we say it all the time, couple possessions. Well, if we get you to that point, but then you don't step on the gas, right? We get you to that point, and you don't. I mean, is it unreasonable for us to expect Dame time to happen every night? Right? Is it unreasonable for us to expect that? Should we expect Dame time maybe once every 4 nights? Is that a little bit more realistic?
But Dame time is just like those last 2 minutes. Dame going crazy. You didn't need that. Like that's like what I'm asking for. I'm asking for you to go out like tonight wasn't Murray time. Murray just cooked all night long. Like I don't need like this 3-minute stretch of flurries of this is incredible. Like what he did in Sacramento, incredible. He did Philly, incredible. I'm not even asking for that. I'm just saying throughout the game, no, I'm not talking about the first quarter, but he had first quarter, I think not tonight, but against the Pelicans where he put up 12 points. Like that's more along, like I don't need you to do it in a 2-minute stretch at the end of the game. I need more of that consistently from you. Like every few possessions, you coming down and I'm getting a bucket just because. And then for the people who keep crying, for the people who cry about like ISO, all I got is ISO ball. Do you watch? I mean, I'm not trying to insult. Do you watch the NBA? That's how guys score. Did you watch how the Bucks won a championship in 2021? It wasn't because the plays and designs and sets were so crazy. It was one-on-one basketball. Like I promise you, I've said this before and I've watched it. Go watch there's like a finals montage. I believe Nate Marzion, who is actually gonna be on the show Wednesday night against the Portland Trailblazers. So if you like Nate, he's gonna be with us for a show Wednesday night. After Portland, I just said that twice, but that's what CTE acting up. But
Stella Rose, the Stella Rose,
Stella and the CTE.
You on the Stella?
But go. There's a montage. I think he put it out where, I mean, it's tough shot express, tough shot after tough shot after tough shot. Like I don't know where these people think like that everybody just gets these open looks and that's how the NBA and this beautiful basketball, San Antonio Spurs, and you share the rock and then you do all this Harlem Globetrotters and get an open lane. That's not basketball, dog. Basketball in the NBA, and it ain't AAU. Basketball in the NBA is a ton of tough shot express. I got to hit when a hand is up over me. That's what I got to do. One-on-one basketball, clear the floor. We won 4. Give me a pick. And I'm gonna take a mismatch, and I'm gonna take you off the dribble. Tween has he step back. That's the NBA. You got to be able to score like that. Like I get it. Like you want sets, you want actions, you want a little fist and 19, some horns act. You want that, but the NBA boils down to one-on-one, mano. I'm cooking you, or I'm getting stopped.
And that's why
from the star players.
That's why I'm so surprised that Dame likes to get to the rim more, it seems like, this season, as much as he would rather take a tough shot from beyond the arc or take a tough mid-range shot, because that's what he does best. And no matter who's guarding him in Portland, it didn't matter. And he was running off the ball, around screens, catch and shoot, and over a hand and stuff like that, off the dribble, mid-range, over a hand. But now it just seems like you said, we saw it tonight was the foul baiting stuff. So, he's just got to figure out what he wants to accomplish as a scorer here, and I think it'll all end up working out.
But is that a confidence? I mean, again, I'm not going to ask you guys because we don't really know, but is that a confidence issue, right? Can you do all that when you're on a team that doesn't expect to win 30, 40 games max, right? Are you doing all that team when you're really the only guy on that squad after they got rid of, McCall? Like, I don't know, right? Because now you in the room with folks that got resumes. You in the room with other options. You in the room, right? So is it a confidence issue? Is it like, damn, I don't want to take this mid range when I can find Chris because he might be a little better shooter than me. Let me free that man up instead of putting that. I don't know what it is, but what I do know is that we need that instinct to come back, and we need Dame. We need Dame to look like Dame, and it's just not happening on a consistent basis now.
No, it's not. Nicholas Hazard says he likes it. Sub at night. I appreciate you, Nick. I know you like said people going to bed. If you're still up, keep rolling with this. Nuggets win at 113-107 over the Milwaukee Bucks. Todd, I see you with us. He says Bobby was bad. Chris was a human turnover machine like usual. Chris shouldn't be allowed to dribble. And then the 11 King says Chris needs to handle the ball less, but Dame was a turnover machine also. All valid points. Chris Middleton, again, we talked about it, came out of half. I think he turned the ball. I think he had a well, it was Brook Lopez that had the offensive foul out of the half. Then Chris dribbled the ball out of bounds. I mean, he just had a couple really bad turnovers. I don't know what he was doing. We have Nick. I see we have Bobby Portis WTF on the on the screen. We can talk about Bobby in a second, but I want to get to some comments. I'm sure from Twitter, and I'm sure that I'm sure that somebody would talk about Bobby here. At He Manseth always tweeting in, says aside from being irritated, they lost a very winnable game. The good news is defense was good, intensity was good, focus except for the third quarter. Chris and Dane was good. I like this team looks formidable again. This game was lost on two long stretches in the first and third quarter. One short stretch in the fourth quarter where the shot selection and ball movement were horrendous. Fix that and the embarrassing turnover fest. Bucks win this game going away. No cap. Yeah, but again, I like scoring the basketball, man. Like I really hate these. I hate these lulls where you can't score like that. That again. And this is the only thing I'm gonna say. This is the only thing I'm gonna say. So the Milwaukee Bucks, this is where you guys are starting to scare me just a little bit. The Milwaukee Bucks under Mike Budenholzer were a great regular season team, could get stops on defense and score just enough to beat you. We've seen that movie before. And that movie 4 out of 5 times gets you beat at some stretch in the playoffs. I've got, again, I'm going to give Doc Rivers the opportunity, obviously, to show me what he's going to be able to do. But you've got to show me that you're going to be willing to adjust, and you got to be able to show me wrinkles as to what your team can do differently. I don't want a repeat of what I've seen. I know how far Mike Budenholzer's team and what they can do. Can they win a championship? Absolutely. Can you win a championship playing Mike Budenholzer's style of basketball? Yes. But you cannot get stubborn and stuck in your ways as a team, and that's what I've seen from Mike Budenholzer. So when you say this team looks formidable again, I don't care how formidable they look in January. I want to know what is the difference that's going to make this team different when I watch them in April and May. That's what I want to know. And again, I'm just saying what I saw from a team. Defense was weird. You're going to have to work it out. But what I saw for 40-some games was a team where offensively, I had no fear. I had no fear that they was going to score the ball at every single time they took the ball down the court. And I want to make sure that I still feel like that. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, because again, this team caters to what I like. You know what that is? Offense. You know what I don't really care about? Defense, right? Because again, I will argue this point to you guys, and any of our listeners. You can win a championship with elite offense and average defense. You can. Your defense can be in that 10 to 20 range, and you can win a championship if your offense is in that top 5. You can do that, right? What you can't do, though, is win a championship when your offense is in that 10 to 20 range, and now your defense is in that 10. Okay, right? No, because now you're gravitating right. You just don't. You're just not going to get past that. It's unlikely you get past that second round. So no, I don't think you're wrong, and I want to see our elite offense look like our elite offense. Defense to get a little better once we get some personnel in there, but I mean, our bread and butter is having one of the best offenses in NBA history, and that's what we need to see night in and night out.
Todd says we lose the game by 30 if Griffith's coaching, so I see progress. Hey, listen, that's what you want to go with, cool, but again, the way I see the Bucks is you're not competing against what coach you had in the past. You're competing to win a championship. So great if that's what you thought. But you're competing to how can you win a championship? Like Griffiths in the past, what I'm looking at is what do I see? And when I see 107 points on the board, again, you're 2-6 or 2-7, whatever it is. I get scared when that's the number because when I got Dame and Giannis, I know no matter what, the defense is going to fall off a little bit. I get scared when I see 107. Like, I still think the Bucks the defense need to improve 100%, but you cannot take steps backwards offensively. You cannot. Like, that, I need to see that same exact offensive output that I was always seeing. This team cannot take a step back offensively, not at all. Brad at BuckyBacker09. Too many Bobby minutes of bad basketball. Him staying in as long as he did, combined with Chris sitting after being hot, just can't happen. Dame is too passive until it's too late. Plenty of stops and chances to win or take the lead late, but failed against a very good team. At Dig and Chris says Dame with the least shots in the game he's taken all season. Adjustment from Doc or Dame just deciding not to show up. I think we kind of answered some of these, questions. And then I will let's answer. Well, at Cooley Rock says lame time. Damn, people have fallen off here. At Snail Trap says Bobby and Pat are dog shit. Trade their asses. Doc needs to play the young guys. Tonight's rotations were disgusting. And I'll read one more. Cheney says Doc will get the shot distribution organized better, forced to issue more with Dame getting more shots. I will read more. At ES Black says this team isn't winning anything if Dame is really this underwhelming. So a lot of good comments that we're hearing in from you guys. Yeah, again, I agree with all that stuff about Bobby Portis. One thing on Bobby Portis, then we'll go to game balls and kind of wrap this thing up because I know it's getting late on the it's getting late on the Central Time. It's already 12:30 here. John looking like he's about to fall out in his chair, so I want to make sure we get him to bed. Listen, on the Bobby Portis thing, he's got to be better. But again, I think the only thing I'll say on this, and I'll be short on it, is I don't think he makes it past the deadline. And I almost at this point have gotten to the point where it's addition by subtraction, where, you just give me anybody and get him off this basketball team. Like I know he hits some big shots. I know he can do it. And I know he's an emotional leader. I get all that. I'm over it. I'm just over it. And I'm not wavering anymore. I would prefer at this point if Bobby Portis is no longer a member of the Milwaukee Bucks come February 8th.
And the only caveat I'll say to that is, to me, it's not so much about getting rid of Bobby as much as it's about the ability to be able to upgrade this roster, right? And Bobby obviously being a key chip in that. That's all I'm saying, right? Because I still, like a lot of Buck fans, have the nostalgia of Bobby, and it's like, man, well, Bobby's been so good for our franchise for the last few years, and you can't take that away from him. Overall, yes, but at this point, it does feel like it's coming to the end of the road, right? Nothing lasts forever except your debit card, right? You get Bobby on your debit card, you can keep ordering new ones of those as long as what Teachers Federal Credit Union offers Bobby on a debit card, something like whatever that is, But yeah, the reality of it is, I agree with you. I think if we trade Bobby and we get a DeJounte Murray, we get a Bruce Brown, we get, I would 100% be open to that. I think I think when Bobby's hitting shots, it's all good. I like the emotional leader. I like all that leadership that Bobby brings and the type of player he is. I just feel like for what we need right now, and what we can get by moving him, you 100% have to pursue that move. And he can take Pat with him. He can take Campaign with him. We can go ahead and take Marjon with him. He can go ahead. I mean, Andre Jackson Jr., if we're not going to play him, he can go too. I mean, look, right? Look, Bobby can hold the door open as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I echo the same kind of sentiment, and I'll say this about Bobby. He's just too inconsistent at this point for this team to kind of move forward with him and rely on him to be a good guy off the bench. And hopefully somebody around the league kind of recognizes that, or doesn't recognize that, I'll say, and takes him as a scrap. But I think, yeah, like Trey said, he's not going to be on this roster past the deadline if unless there's some crazy change. So I think, yeah, obviously you got to get rid of inconsistency, because ultimately that's what hurts the Bucks in the playoffs. And we've seen it in the past years where they flamed out because of some regular season players and they just didn't show up in the playoffs. And now I'm afraid Bobby will be the same.
Todd says, so you get rid of Bobby. Do you have a guy in mind? Rolo sure can't handle playing in the post. Yeah, but again, and we said this before on the show, Bobby doesn't play like a post player anyway. Bobby doesn't play like a big, so getting rid of Bobby, the average big can do defensive. Bobby does. Like, give me your average bench, first man off the bench big in the NBA. That person can do what Bobby Portis does defensively. Maybe doesn't give you the offensive output, but again, if you make another trade, you bring a defensive guard in and you move Malik Beasley to the bench, you're already getting outscored from the bench anyway. Like, it doesn't get any worse than what the Bucks bench is anyway. So you're not losing anything on that end if you make a trade. Like, I just don't think you're losing much. Yeah, sure. Does Bobby have the output like he had the other night every now and then? Yes, he absolutely does. But I just don't think. I mean, again, I think you can get a regular guy off the bench that can produce, and again, you can get rid of Bobby, like you said, Pat, some of those guys, and yeah, you could flip that entire bench around and be fine because your starters are really good. So I just don't. I'm like I said, I'm just over the whole Bobby thing. That's all. You want to do game balls?
Let's get game.
Let's do game balls.
Let's get it.
Let's do game balls. Okay, game ball for me. I'll go first. I'm gonna give it to Jamal Murray. I think you could give it to Joker. I know John, you don't like to give it to the opposing team. But I'll give it to Jamal Murray. 35, 5 assists. I mean, he just absolutely cooked all night long. 13 to 22, 59% from the field. Didn't hit a three. Was 9 for 10 from the line. Only how many turnovers did he have? 2 turnovers. So I mean, again, he outperformed Damian Lillard. And I think if you're an opposing guard, your goal should be to. I mean, and I said this while the game was on. While the game was on, this game, I think this game is going to go. Whoever, if Damian Lillard can match Murray's production, the Bucks have a shot at winning. He didn't come close, and the Bucks lost by 6 points. So yeah, that it was or 7 points, whatever it was, 6 points. It was 107, 113. But yeah, I think that's a lot of the times it's the way it goes. Damian Lillard has not come close to matching production, and the Bucks still find ways to win basketball games. If you change that, to me, that might be the single most important thing about this basketball team that needs to change. And coaching, none of that matters. If Damian Lillard can find a way to flip the switch and be not better than the other team's guard, but be just as good scoring wise. I'm not talking about assists. I'm not talking about defense. Just scoring the ball. I think that changed this team's fortunes in a mighty big way. But my game ball tonight goes to Jamal Murray. Torched Malik Beasley for the most part and made some timely buckets down the stretch and throughout the game to give Denver the Denver Nuggets a win.
So I mean, if I wanted to be petty, I would go Giannis because he's obviously 29 and 12 tonight, and Giannis is the only player that shows up every single night on this Bucks team, and is consistent. Having said that, though, I'm gonna give it to the chairs and towels on the sideline, right? Because they're the only thing that this team can rely on outside of the starting five. You can rely the chairs will hold these players on the bench up, and the towels will be there to wipe away whatever. And that's about it. Because these dudes on the bench are garbage far too often. But no, yeah. If I had to give it, I'd give it to Giannis. But y'all know, hey, we gonna give it to the furniture because these jokers ain't doing much on the bench.
How about for the first time in Cream City crossover history, we give it to the officials who decided to try to make an impact on this game. I thought they called a horrible illegal screen on Brook Lopez when Chris Middleton was trying to get around it and ended up shooting, and he got just crashed into by whoever was defending him. And then the BS 10-second violation, because I don't know if it was the crowd that got in their heads or the Denver Nuggets coaching, but yeah, I mean, they tried their best to kind of make sure Denver put this one away. I felt like not one to normally blame the refs, but thought they did a good job in the final couple minutes.
Yeah, I just didn't like the timing of that. Like, Giannis takes a long free throw. He's gonna be close to that 10-second mark every time. And if you're not gonna call that consistently, I'm just not sure what you get out of calling it with 2 minutes to play. That's my only thing. So if you want to call it, call it. If you're not gonna call it, why call it with 2 minutes to play? I just didn't get that.
I would agree. That's again the arbitrary enforcement of that seems to be a bit. I would argue that if you're calling stuff within 2 minutes, then you're more likely than not are going to have a material impact on the game.
Yeah, we saw it could have been a 4-point play. So, yeah.
Right. Let's take a look around here in the NBA. The Cleveland Cavaliers beat the LA Clippers. That's a really good win for Cleveland. Mm-hmm. The Hornets lose to the Knicks. Knicks are rolling. They are 30-17. The Knicks now are just 2 games out of the 2 spot. So they are rolling. The Knicks are just 2.5 games out of the 2 spot. The Cavs are just 2.5 games out of the 2 spot. Knicks have won 7 in a row. So they are playing some really high-level basketball. The Phoenix Suns win 118-105 over the Heat, who are still reeling. The Nets beat the Jazz. Boston takes care of the Pelicans. They were down late in this game. It was a really good game from Drew Holiday tonight. The Wizards beat the Spurs. The Wolves beat the Thunder. Kings take down the Grizzlies. The Lakers lose 135-119 to the Houston Rockets. They continue to have problems. And keep going with this. Mavericks beat the Magic 131-129. The Blazers beat the 76ers. Let's see. Did no Embiid tonight. Tobias Harris did come back, but the Blazers did, and so the Bucks actually play the Blazers Wednesday night. Dame's return to Portland. Let me say something. If Dame doesn't take 30 shots against the Portland, I'm gonna say 30. If Dame don't take 20 shots against the Portland Trailblazers, returning to Portland and show out in Portland, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to hear any excuse about, well, they didn't get. No, they are going to make sure that Dame gets all the opportunities he can on Wednesday night. He's going to have them 100%. Go out and play basketball, man. So Damian Lillard, Wednesday night against the Trailblazers. We will have post-game coverage at the Cream City crossover after for that one. That's going to be a fun one. And like I said, we encourage you all to join us after the game. I believe we're confirmed to have Nathan Marzion, basically the Bucks Twitter aficionado. So yeah, that'll be a fun one. Welcoming, and I think it should be a fun game because again, he's just it's a lot of the interesting storyline of him leaving Portland. He will be well received when he comes back. I want to ask you guys about that. But I also want to ask you real quick. Like I said, I don't want to take long because it's late. What you thought about Lamar Jackson and the Chiefs? Where like I don't know if you want, or I guess I ask it all at once, and then also on what took place in Detroit, where Dan Campbell just talk about CTE. That was embarrassing. What happened to the Detroit Lions and not taking field goals and just being a little too aggressive. So take all three of those: the Bucks and Blazers, the Chiefs, and then also the Lions and what took place there. Take one or two or all or whatever, and then we can get up out of here.
So I'll start with this, right? I think the Portland Trailblazers are going to lose that game by 20 plus. I really do. I mean, this team absolutely stinks, right? And are they dead last in the West? They gotta be. I think Portland. Let me see. They're 14. There you go. 13-33, and they'll probably get the 50.
Spurs.
Yeah, they're 13-33, and quite honestly, they may very well get to 50 losses before they get to 20 wins. I mean, this Portland team stinks, so I definitely expect Milwaukee to go out there and take it to them. I expect Portland fans to be petty and boo Dame every time he touches the ball because he did request a trade.
No.
He requested a trade. Listen, I said this. Okay, listen, I would love it if Portland fans were not petty and not crazy. But listen, hey, okay, let's hope not. But I certainly hope he does come out shooting. I hope he has a big game at Portland. Quite honestly, he shouldn't have a hard time doing so. That team is awful. And so Lamar Jackson, let's talk about it. You know what? Listen, I'm not gonna put this all on Lamar Jackson. You know why? Because Zay Flowers. What the hell was that, man? What was that? Right? Like, I mean, Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers does not fumble the ball on the 2-inch line.
Yeah,
he hit the McCole Hardman. He hit the McCole Hardman, right? Like Zay Flowers doesn't reach into his McCole Hardman bag, and we're having a different conversation. Having said that, though, I do think that the San Francisco 49ers are going to give the Chiefs work. They are 100% get a Chiefs work. From a defensive perspective. Listen. Brock Purdy is a game manager, but he might be one of the best game managers we've seen recently, right? Because he's in a different level. Oh, you telling me Brock
His
Purdy?
His best play, he threw it off the Detroit line to my man's face mask. Should have been picked. He threw it off a man's face mask. And people act like Brock Purdy.
So talk about the best game managers in the league. Is Tagliavola one of the best game managers in the league?
Who?
Tua.
Oh, right now. Oh, you talking about right now? Yeah, sure. I can.
All right, okay. And is Brock Purdy better than Tua? Yes. Yes. There's no question that Brock Purdy is better than Tua.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Every time I watch Brock Purdy, like I get convinced he's not good. I was like, he just shows he's not good.
But he finds a way to pull it. He finds a way to pull
He
it
finds a
together.
way, or the team finds a way to pull it together.
Brock Purdy, and listen,
or Dan Campbell coaches like an idiot.
By no means am I a Brock Purdy fan, but hey, my man got out there and he was running like he was running like he was going to miss
Lamar should have ran.
He was running like he was going to miss the bus, and he'd been late to work too many times, and the next one he get written up. That's how Brock was out there running. Brock was out there right, and was out there getting the knees up, and you just saw him. The thing about Brock Purdy is that that arm is not impressive. There's a lot that's not impressive about a lot of these throws. Really aren't that impressive. His wide receiver course, tight end. He has some of the best wide receivers this year and tight ends in the league. Yeah, listen, I get it, but when it's game time and it's crunch time, something about Brock Purdy seems to figure this thing out. And even last week when he looked like trash against the Packers, the end of that game, that last 5 minutes, you got to give that man some credit, right? He's got so. Yeah, that's what I give him over Tua. Because the problem with Tua is he'll be stinking it up, and then when it's time for Tua to get there, it just keeps stinking, right? Like he just doesn't have that ability. And then the last thing I'll say about Dan Campbell: sometimes you got to save people from themselves, man. And Dan Campbell, I don't know if it's the data and analytics guy, because every team has a data and analytics guys like running around pretty much like, because they got to be close to the coach to tell them, hey, statistically speaking, boo, 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 whatever that number is. I don't know if Dan, because Brandon Staley from the Chargers used to do this kind of goofy stuff where like there would be the obvious thing to do, and he would, but the data and the numbers, right? And here's the thing I'm going to tell Dan Campbell, right? Here's a free piece of advice. You need a new analytics guy, because whoever's telling you not to kick field goals and whoever's telling you not to take the easy points in the playoffs thing, they may know data analytics, but they don't know football. Yeah. They don't know football, right? Because I can tell you right now, there's a whole lot of casual football fans who'd have been like, yeah, take that field goal. What are you doing? And, man, unfortunately, it cost this Detroit team a very winnable game, and they would have had their first trip to the Super Bowl. And, man, very sad to see. I was looking forward to. I told you I wanted to see Baltimore and Detroit and Vegas. I wanted that. You just smell black and miles everywhere. It'd have been a whole lot of y'all. Folks would have been fighting. You just seen the best of both worlds, right? You just seen them old players walking around with not mink coats on. They got fur on, right? They'd have had the hat. They'd have had the feather in it. They'd have been walking around calling everybody Jack. Baltimore would have showed up. Baltimore would have showed up with Timbs and do-rags on, smelling like cheap weed. It'd have been a beautiful sight in Vegas, right? It'd have been all of y'all there. Your cousin Trey, Junebug, Pookie and them. Man, it would have been a sight to see in Vegas. But you know how the NFL and the script go. Nah, we couldn't let that happen. We couldn't let that happen.
So instead, we're going to see a proposal at midfield when Travis Kelce gets down on one knee.
That's right.
And proposes to Taylor Swift.
That'll be lit. I can't lie. Right. That'll be lit.
That's right.
That'll be tea.
You already know what time it is, and you know what though?
That's moving a little fast for me though.
What kind of goofy mess was that the Chiefs were trying to do to Justin Tucker, man? Well, come on, man. Like y'all trying to pick on the kicker? Oh, that's real tough guy stuff. Y'all picking on the kicker.
That was his fault. That was his fault.
Man, it's his thing. Patrick throwing a thing away, like, bro, look, I wish you would have swung on dude. I really do. I wish Tucker would have swung on that dude.
Tucker ain't on that.
They knew who to do it to,
right?
Because there was a whole lot of Ravens players that were on that, and 100% would have been on that had they been around for that.
I think the Chiefs players are just as on that as anybody. All right, so I'll keep this brief. I mean, Dame's return to Portland, that'll be a fun one. I think this Portland team is actually personnel-wise a little bit better than the record shows, so you can't just lollygag through this one. I think you actually got to bring your A game. I mean, they put up 120 today on an Embiid-less 76ers, who's no slouch. He finally has a little bit of pieces around him now. So, yeah, I think this Portland team, now they get everybody back healthy. DeAndre Ayton's not missing games because of snow. I think Dame's really
He's an All NBA player, sir, according to him. According to DeAndre, he's an All NBA player.
He might be. Nah, not with 13 wins. All right, so I also think that Dame's got to go in there and show them what they missed out on by not bringing them back, because he's the one who kind of taught Anthony Simons how to be a good guard in this league. He also is going to have to face Scoot Henderson, who I think is trash. He'll face him too. And, I'm also glad that they're playing the Blazers, and I'll be up watching because my guy Toumani Camara, who we should have drafted, is on the Portland Trailblazers. So I think, Dayton player, former Dayton player. So I'll be excited to watch that one. Obviously, we're having Nate Marjan on, so that'll be fun. So make sure you guys definitely make sure you stay up late for that one as well. And then the playoff. See, JT, this is where you get burned, man. You're betting against Patty. You talked about it. You had the Ravens. You wanted the world to see what Lamar Jackson could do. But look, Patrick Mahomes is still that guy. Okay?
Oh, he is 100%. He's one of the best to ever do it. He is one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, 100%. And this may be a little bit of recency bias, but I think L'Jarius Sneed, I mean, my God, he might be one of the best corners in the league. That guy is one of the most all-around corners. And when you talk about Zay Flowers, bonehead play with the penalty and also cutting up his hand because he was so mad. That was stupid as well. You're a wide receiver, buddy. Stop harming the one things that work for you. So, yeah, obviously that, but just the play, I mean, to force that fumble right before he gets to the goal line, like that's an amazing play. Like that takes one of the best athletes in the world to be able to punch that out right before he gets to the goal line. So I think this Chiefs defense is really locking in. I thought they were good all year, but I thought that they were a little underrated. So now they're kind of at the forefront of everything. As long as they don't let CMC end up running all over them, and as long as they can play with the lead, I think they can beat this 49ers team. And I'm not going to bet against Patty, so I got Chiefs in that matchup once again. He's just that guy. And as far as the Lions and 49ers game go, I feel like they kind of played a little bit passive. Jahmyr Gibbs with the fumble, and I think you still stick to your who was toting the rock really, and David Montgomery. I think they should have made an adjustment and not let them switch every drive. But to each its own. I think they allowed San Francisco to get back in the game and play a little more conservative because of like the turnover and stuff like that, to where now you let CMC get involved, you let Debo get involved, and all of a sudden it's a one-score game. Then you tie it up, and then you go get the win. It's just the Lions didn't play that how I would have. I'm not an NFL head coach, but I feel like they were a little too passive, and they allowed some mistakes to bite them in the butt. So I got Chiefs over the 49ers in the Super Bowl, but that's what I saw this weekend.
All right, yeah. So like I said, man, a lot of that agree with. Yeah, I definitely think the Chiefs are gonna win next Sunday. I'm not betting against Mahomes, man. You just can't do it.
And if you got cash, you better take that Chiefs money line. If you got cash, I mean, you should, right? We'll talk about that. We should actually do that.
How about former Packer MVS making that big play at the end?
That was big catch, big play, big catch.
Big catch.
Still cut after this year, though.
Still cut after this year. Rice involved too, and he's looking like a problem. So that touchdown called back.
Breaking news: Rajon Rondo has been arrested in Indiana on misdemeanor charges of unlawful possession of a firearm, drug paraphernalia, and marijuana. So
why is Rajon Rondo?
I got his guns.
Why is Rajon Rondo in Jackson County, Indiana, in the first place? He went to Kentucky though, so maybe was he down there seeing some old college thing?
I don't know what he was up to.
Y'all know where that's at?
Where?
Jackson County, Indiana?
No.
I have no clue. I probably should. I'm kind of close, but no.
So it's like South Central Indiana, right? Like so. What's it like? Here, I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you exactly where. Yeah, I'm looking at the map right now. Yeah, Jackson. Yeah, no way in hell he should be. What is he doing? Why is this man in Jackson County, Indiana?
Maybe he was driving through there. Maybe he was driving through there.
Oh, you think he was tipping?
Yeah, maybe he was just driving. Maybe he was trying to. Maybe he was like going somewhere else, and I don't know. Then Anthony Davis apparently left the huddle that Darvin Ham was where he was drawing up a play. So that's interesting. I think Darvin Ham's gonna get fired out in LA at
he's
some
so
point.
fired.
We're gonna see what happens out there. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, so we got Wednesday night. We'll come back. We'll do Cream City crossover. Nathan Marzion will be here talking to the people. So that'll be fun. Appreciate all the likes, follows, subscriptions. Get the likes up. We need that so we can keep giving you guys quality content. That really helps us out a lot. We appreciate it. Tell a friend to tell a friend about the Cream City crossover. Any final words from you guys on the Bucks losing 113-107 to the Denver Nuggets?
Man, on to Wednesday. Unfortunately, Doc was not able to do what his two predecessors in Joe Prunty and Adrian Griffin were to do, and that's win their debut. And, man, that's all right, though, Doc. Looking forward to a long and very fruitful partnership with Doc.
It's not Dave's fault. It's not Dave's fault.
All right, man. And on that note,
Chris, you got anything?
Yeah, we should. We talked about it. 4-2 was probably the right record around where we will be at in this 6-game stretch. Obviously, going out west, first game, and they beat the Pelicans, but you go and play the Nuggets, defending champions, and you kept it close, but I thought you really could have won that one. So looking for this Bucks team to really show out for the next 4 games and at least go 3-1, hopefully 4-0. And I just appreciate everybody tuning in. This is a late one, but we're up for it, so I hope you guys are too. And Wednesday it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. And Wednesday's gonna be even later. Obviously, as the Bucks don't start till 10 Eastern, 9 Central. So it's a late one. So let's stay up with us, man. Stay up with us.
JT,
grab
you
your
Stella. We Eastern time over here.
Yeah, man. Grab your Stella Rosa.
I gotta go into work. Y'all killing me, man.
Grab what you got and enjoy a fun one with the Cream City crossover. Todd says Darvin Ham had a much higher getting fired odds than Griff did. Difference is deep pocket owners. I think, and again, because of who didn't think Adrian Griff wasn't gonna make it a year. I think that was a lot of it right there. So I certainly didn't think he would get Ken within the first 43 games with a 30-13 record. But anyway, that's what happened. This, of course, has been a Cream City Media Group production. As Chris said, we appreciate everybody for listening to everything we had to do and say tonight. From the Guru, Trey Crosby III.
JT.
Chris King.
Hey, man, we'll catch you Wednesday night. Don't take no Wood Nichols.